Up until now, I have talked about the stories behind the Lightcones of the destruction, preservation and erudition. And since Hunt has been a massive part of the overall story, I think it would be nice to take a look at the Hunt Lightcones before we swap over to another point of focus. The Lightcones of the Hunt seem to focus more on the smaller, personal scale of the stories, because most of the Hunt Lightcones are specifically made for certain characters. So unlike in the previous videos, I will not rank them from most impactful to least, but split them into general Lightcones and personal Lightcones. Starting off with the general Lightcones. First we have Arrows. This Lightcone depicts the xianzhou Luofu's determination to destroy all of Yaoshe's abominations, and cleanse the universe from the blight of the abundance. The unicorn is a mystical creature, so it is most likely representing the unnatural life that the abundance granted its servants. Arrows are seen almost everywhere when looking through the Hunt path. The Aeon Lan uses a bow as their main weapon. The logo of the Hunt itself is the head of an animal pierced with arrows, and even the upgrade materials we use to upgrade characters of the Hunt are arrows. Speaking of arrows, on the Lightcone Darting Arrow, we can see an arrow that has just pierced its target, while not losing momentum at all. This is most likely the moment when Lan destroyed the gigantic tree Moldrasil, just before they ascended. When the arrow was fired, it went through the ambrosial arbor, thereby destroying it, before crashing into Moldrasil, securing a decisive victory against the Wingweavers. After this battle, the xianzhou ships formed the Xianzhou Alliance, which is seen in Adversarial. Cruising in the Stellar Sea depicts the journey of the xianzhou after they left their home planet. The reason they left their home planet and started traveling across the universe was to find Yaoshe, so they could receive immortality. However, when they finally obtained it, they realized its destructive nature and decided to forever hunt down Yaoshe, to cleanse the universe of all its abominations. But as long as Yaoshe exists, their hunt will never end. These Lightcones were all of the general Hunt Lightcones. They all have strong connections to the xianzhou, but that's not that strange, since the Hunt's objective is nothing else but to hunt down the abundance for now. Now for the personal Lightcones, let's start with Hanya's Lightcone, Return to Darkness. This Lightcone is a very interesting one. It shows Hanya's rage more than anything else. The person she is holding here is Xueyi, her sister. We saw the two of them earlier in another Lightcone called Under the Blue Sky. On that Lightcone we saw a glimpse of the past, where both Hanya and Xueyi were still children. The most important fact is that Xueyi is still a human here. The Xueyi we see in Return to Darkness is a puppet that was possessed by Xueyi's spirit. This Lightcone has a certain secret hidden in plain sight. See, all the Lightcones that depict one or more characters are meant to be used by said character, since Lightcones are supposed to hold memories, skills, and experiences inside of them. There are only two exceptions to this rule: Dance 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 and Return to Darkness. Dance 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 could even still be kind of considered to follow this rule, since Clara is only there to motivate Swarrow to protect her, so she could kind of be considered a Harmony character that just supports. By the way, following this logic, I will literally eat my shoe if Adventurine won't be a preservation character, since he is depicted in Trend of the Universal Market. Return to Darkness is a Hunt Lightcone, however, which seems strange now that we know that Hanya will be a Harmony and Xueyi will be a Destruction character. It all makes sense when you realize that there is technically one more person in this Lightcone, which is the person Hanya is looking at. If Xueyi had been killed, it would explain Hanya's rage as well, since she's staring right at her sister's murderer. Only Silence Remains shows Dan Heng drawing a bloody scene from memory. He had been looking through the Express's databank for information about himself, probably about Imbiber Lunae. The scene he is drawing is most likely the battle against Shuhu, an emanator of the destruction. In Sleep Like the Dead, we see Yang Qing sleeping while being carried by his master Jing Yuan. At this moment, Jing Yuan realized that Yang Qing has been improving his swordsmanship every day unlike himself, so it's safe to say that Yang Qing will soon be the strongest person on the entire xianzhou. On swordplay we see Xushang, wondering how Locha's sword can be used for anything. After all, it doesn't even come close to the power behind her two-handed greatsword. Locha himself knows that enemies are beaten by strategy, not by swords, so he's not worried at all about such trivial things. Even prodigies need a break sometimes. River Flows in Spring shows young Qing having a well-deserved break from his sword practice. Even the sword seems to enjoy having some times off to relax. Speaking of relaxing, when Topaz finally comes home after a long day of work, she is greeted by all of her pets who want her attention at once, as seen in Worrisome Blissful. Topaz knows that being surrounded by loving animals is truly the best way to de-stress. Have you ever seen a cinder block being smashed on someone's chest? In Subscribe for More, Sushang has found herself in a bit of a pickle, as her friend Gwen has thought of a new and interesting way to draw her audience attention. Surely this one will go viral, right? And that were all of the Hunt Lightcones, except for In the Night. The reason I left In the Night out is because I want to make a dedicated video about Zila, and since her Lightcone doesn't really have a story, it seems right to discuss it there. Anyways, that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Bye.